Hello and welcome to the part number 33 of the Node Editor tutorial series. My name is Pavel Křupala from BlenderFreak.com, and in this part we are going to extend our main.py script, which we are using to fiddle around with the Python path a little bit, so people who are running our examples directly from the command line should be able to run them. And finally, we are going to finish up the refactoring of the on file, new file, open, save and save as functions. So I hope you are excited, and let's start coding. Okay, so I just went ahead and updated the PyQt5. In case you are wondering how you can do that, you can just open up the terminal and pip install, and you need to add this parameter here, upgrade, and then just write PyQt5, and your installation of PyQt5 should be updated. And also I decided to try out the PyQt5 stubs, so the easier way how you can actually install this is going to not import settings but file settings, and here underneath the project node editor you can find out the project interpreter, and here with the plus sign you can find out the PyQt5, and here are the stubs. So you just select this one and install package. I've already did that, so I won't do that again. Another thing I would like to have a look at is the execution of the examples itself. If you can see, we are running from PyCharm, and even if we go to the terminal and go to the examples and, for example, example test, and when we type python.main or main.py, you can see our application is still running. And the reason for that is because inside of our project we do have set up, let me try to find it. Yes, here it is. Here in the execution, here is add content root to Python path. So that means when we are running the application from the PyCharm itself, we do actually take this root directory and we are putting that to the Python path itself. So if I go here and type python main.py from the command line, you can see here our root is going to be the example test subdirectory. So therefore module is not found error because we can't find the node editor itself, this one. And this package is located in the root exactly here. So to fix that, we just need to extend the Python path, and we can do that simply just by using system.path.insert, and on the first place of this list we are going to insert the path to the root of this repository. We can just type os path directory name and ask for this current file, and this way we will get the current directory we are in. So we can append or join os path join this current subdirectory with 2 times dot to get 2 levels above. So we are here with the first double dot, we are going here, and with the second one we are going to the root, and therefore we can find the node editor itself. So now when I press play, it runs, and when I go back to the console and try it again, you can see our application is running. So let's try the example calculator, and it's not running because we need to do exactly the same thing. So let's go to the calculator, main, and let's put it here. But here I guess we do need to import OS, and now we are running from the command line, which is perfect. So let's have a look again at the functions we have been writing, because I guess there is something which is being there more times than is necessary. For example, if we have a look at the calculator window, which extends from the node editor window, here in the node editor window, I am not sure just about the open and new, but let's have a look on the save first. So we are actually calling get current node editor widget, file name is none, return on file save as. And if we have a look in the calculator window, we are basically doing the same thing. In the first place, we are trying to get the current node editor, which is supposed to return active MDI child. In our case, that's a sub window, and that's node editor widget. So either way, we are actually getting the node editor widget. So if we go here we are using the get current node editor widget, but we are not using this function in our calculator example. So if I go here to the node editor window, let's go back here to the calculator window, and let's try to somehow do this thing, get current node editor widget. Instead of calling self central widget, we can return active MDI child. So let's have a look at this function, and we are calling active subwindow, get the subwindow, and if it's true or if it's not empty, we are returning the widget, otherwise we are returning none. So in the first place, let's go up here for the file save, and we can say that the current node editor equals to self.get current node editor widget, and if this is true, we are asking if the current node editor is file name set. So let's copy this function here, and let's have a look back here in our node editor window on the file save. We are asking if dot file name is none, and instead of that we can ask if is file name set. If not, self get current node editor widget is file name set, then return file save as. Otherwise we are going to call file save, we are setting up the status bar message, and we are setting the title here. So I guess this is basically the same thing as we have here. If not current node editor is file name set, we are calling on file save as, and otherwise we are file save and setting the status bar message, and we are here using the timeout. So let's copy the timeout here, put it here. Then we are setting title on self, and self is in this case node editor window, and in this case we are calling set title on the widget itself. So I guess since we are using the Q widget, it got the set title function, so we should basically be able to go here and say self.get current node editor widget set title. No, it's not there. There is a set window title. So we could do a little trick and ask if has attribute this class, if it got an attribute, in our case it's gonna be this method called set title, then has attribute we can call self.get current node editor widget and set title. It's a little hack, but I guess we can use that. So let's try the calculator, open some example, for example the graph. I will go save as and move that to the calculator. So that's gonna be named ex1.json. Okay, I move that and save. We are running, and we should be running. Let's move it a little bit different, since we are still using the old code here. But let's have a look what's gonna happen if we comment this one out, open example, move it a little bit and save, and you can see the title changed, successfully saved. It's changed also. So let's try our first example, node editor, and that's not running. Okay, node editor window object has no attribute on file save. Yes, because I messed it up. we do need to go to calculator window and comment this here. Okay, press play. Okay, the application started. That's a good sign. Let's go to the example calculator ex1. Move it around. We got a star here. And save. It removed the star and we got the message here. And it disappeared after 5 seconds. So let's try again the calculator. File, open, exJSON. We moved, we got a star. Let's try 3, 2, 1, save, save, and did we have this here? Yeah, we got. So here's our message. So this one works, and we got successfully rid of one of these functions here. So therefore our code will be simpler and shorter, which is exactly what we want. And we just replace it with one override for the getCurrentNodeEditor widget function, which we are using globally here in the NodeEditor window itself. And now let's have a look at the onFileSaveAs, and this one is going to be a little bit complicated. In the first place, let's have a look here what we are actually doing. So we are asking for the current node editor. This could be actually used already with the getCurrentNodeEditor widget. If it's true, in our case, we should have a look or test at least this one if this one is not none. However, we are then asking for the file name, and if the fname is empty, we are returning false, and then we are calling this current node editor file save, setting title, status bar, and returning true, which is awesome. So let's go ahead here. I will type in a comment and move this one on one line. So support for MDI application. We can definitely copy this one and put it after the set title. Okay, here we can do basically the same thing, almost the same thing. We do want to ask for this one, and let's store this as a current widget. This is going to be current node editor widget, and if current widget is none, then we are going to return, and we should also have it here. So let's copy the current widget, paste it here, return onFileSaveAs. You can replace this one also, even this one, set title. If the current widget got set title method, we can call it, and we can return true. Okay, this should be okay, I guess. So this is the first test, second test, and then doing something else. And in this case, we can go ahead and replace this. Also this, we can ask on the same thing, like this one, and return true. So let's comment this one out. First off, I'm going to try our test. So open examples calculator ex1, save it as ex2, save, and it being saved. Does it disappear? No, it does not. and it doesn't disappear because obviously show message should get the timeout for 5 seconds. But we got ex2 and everything worked fine. Let's go ahead to the calculator, and now the situation is going to be a little bit different. So if I open ex1, let's move it a little bit here, and now when I call save as and do ex2 and I do confirm this, we got process finished with exit code. So our application actually crashed. But why is that? Since we actually are calling exactly the same code as it was here. So let's test it if this one is working. And here everything should be fine. And I will do one thing. I will go to the utils, which is here, and I will create a new debug function which we can use. So from the print import pretty printer, and pp is going to be pretty printer, and we can say indent equal 4 and pprint. So this way when we type pp we can easily pretty print out whatever we pass in. So let's go here to the calculator window. First off, I'm going from utils import also the pp, and here is the file save as, and here is what I want to show you. So pp, and I will list everything which is inside our current node editor. Also, I will print out the type of our current editor. Open ex1, save as, ex2. Yes, and let's have a look here. Here is our object which we call current node editor, and as you can see it's actually example calculator sub window. It is perfect, that's right. And here in the function, here is a bunch of code from PyQt5, and also we got our file load, file new and file save functions, as we should have. So with printing out the dir function for the object, you can get to all of the members and all of the functions, all of the variables inside of this object. And I wanted to show you another thing. When you go to the debug mode and I do open and save it as, now we got our current node editor. It is actually calculator sub window class, but if you look here, we got the file name, but we don't have the functions here. So it's worth noting that when you are debugging, you won't be able to see these functions which are in the object. But anyways, let's move on, and when I do comment this one out, let's go to the node editor window and let's test out what's actually happening here. So let's type print 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 5. So when we run it again and save it again and we get crash, you can see we got up to the 1, 2 and 3, and 4 was never called, which is this one. So the set title actually is happening or is doing the crash of the application, and the reason why is pretty simple. Our calculator sub window, where we are calling our onFileSaveAs function, derives from the node editor widget, which is this one. And the node editor widget itself is a queue widget and it doesn't have a function which is called setTitle. And we are actually detecting the support for the MDI application here. So the current widget is setting title here if it is actually a sub window. So we can easily type the setTitle in the else branch, because otherwise we are using our first example and we do want to call this one here. So once I press play and do open, save it as, then you can see we are up and running and our bug is actually fixed. So this means we can get rid of all of these print out statements. And I guess we should do the same here in the save function on the file save. Let's check out the calculator. This one is here. Let's try that out again, just to be sure that it's working and not crashing. Save it as, and successfully saved, and we are up and running without any problem. So that's awesome, because we actually managed to get rid of the onFileSaveAs function here. And if we have a look on the file new and file open, there is a bunch of logic which is completely different from the node editor window itself here. So I guess these two functions, we can't replace them easily, but I do like how it's structured here with the tries and with the ifs and stuff like that. So basically I'm going to invert this condition, and instead of returning here, I will just move everything with one tab like this. So if it is not none, then we are going to call all of this code here. And also in our calculator window, which I deleted here already, we were using current node editor. So instead of current widget, I will shift F6 and rename this variable to current node editor. Like this. Let's do the same thing here. Current node editor. Yeah, this is looking a little bit better. So on file save, here we can put a space here. Here we are setting title, otherwise self set title. And let's clean up it a little bit here also. So here a space, and here will be another space. So this way we got in our node editor window on file new open save as. In our calculator window we are just overriding the on file new, on file open, which is perfect. We also started to use this get current node editor widget in the calculator window. So let's go ahead to the active MDI child, cut this code here and delete this function. When we go back here, it was here, we can replace the code here. And I guess the functions were here in the update menus. Yes, this one. So let's try to have a look for the active MDI child, and we got it here in the update window menu and in the update menu. So instead of calling active MDI child, we are going to call get current node editor widget. And I do see the update window menu is somewhere below the update menu, and that's what I'm not liking also. So let's copy that here. Update menus, update window menu. Here we need to call get current node editor widget. Okay, then we are creating actions, get current node editor widget, all of the overridden functions. Here is create menus, create everything. So maybe the update itself should be below the creation of the menus. So let's cut it out. Create actions. Create MDI child, create status bar. We can do that here below the create menus, so it's together better. We are actually handling the menu stuff. Okay, so let's try that. If we broke something, I will open up example 1, save it as example 2, and we are up and running. Okay, so we successfully managed to get rid of the not necessary functions here in the calculator window, and finally we refactored the on file new, open, save and save as functions. So thank you for watching and see you at the next part.